This next award is named after Renee Wolf, who unfortunately passed away on September 11th at 4:20 in Michigan. This is the introduction. It's written by Sharmi Golson, who represents Moms United and the War on Drugs. She was very close to her, so I thought it fitting that someone who knew her intensely pay tribute to her as we introduce this award. Renee Wolf was a trickster mama. Beautiful, compassionate, and fierce, she outmaneuvered all-powerful government from her scooter. She was a mother of 4 proud children, ages 12 to 25, and a role model for medical marijuana activists. Renee had begun using marijuana for over 30 years and called herself Grandma Marijuana. She was a member of NORML and the coalition advocating legal marijuana. Excuse me, what's in my eyes? Excuse me. She was very much loved and revered mother warrior in this fight. She battled muscular sclerosis since 1979. After being diagnosed, she started smoking marijuana and realized, after being diagnosed, immediately that marijuana helped her symptoms when she smoked it. She said she could walk better when she smoked. She walked unassisted to podiums and microphones across the state and carefully enunciated the words, "This is my medicine. Do not take it away from me." She was arrested in '85 for smoking a joint in the face of law enforcement. She was also sentenced to 50 hours of community service and now has a felony on her proud record. She lost custody of her youngest son when she gave him her medicine for his nausea, then moved in with her ex-husband. She divorced her husband to obtain full Social Security benefits and moved back in with him. "You do what you have to do," she told us. She was a key member in the push to get medical marijuana on the ballot. She spoke in front of the House of Representatives to help pass the marijuana law. She attended every march, every rally, and called us all her sisters and her brothers. She was the head of the line at the State Department Community Health in Lansing, making her the first patient to receive a medical marijuana card in the state. As she rolled in her wheelchair up to the counter, a round of applause echoed through the room. We loved her so, and she loved us. Renee graduated from her wheelchair to a scooter, and at the protest last September at the Michigan State Capitol in Lansing, she came so close to lighting a big fat joint in the Capitol building. We did stop her, but now I wish we hadn't. She left us on September 11th at 4:20, and she was surrounded by family and friends and had spent the weekend at a campground named in her honor. This is taken directly from her memorial page on Facebook. Renee always had a smile on her face and made others feel good about themselves. She referred to everyone as beautiful and asked total strangers how they were doing. But there were those who dissed her, who didn't like her puttering around in her scooter at rallies and protests. I often marveled at how arrogant these people were. But at the same time, I felt sorry for them, because Renee would refer to them as beautiful anyway and ask them how they were doing, just like everyone else. This is what makes Renee such a treasure. She had love for everyone, except of course the bastards who kept her medicine from her. She wants to say goodbye to a sweet, loving, fierce mama and thank her for showing us what compassion, honor, and steadfast activists look like. We're all stronger and closer because of her. I would like to present this award to my dear friend Vincent Lopez, who despite not being able to walk, or even comb his hair, or have a woman to love him romantically, because so many people do love you. Despite all of that, and not being able to work, he uses his disability check to publish the Austin 420. It hurts him to write, it hurts him to type, it hurts him. But just the same, he contributes to the world. Many of us, we have the capabilities that Vincent has, but none of us can do as much as he has. So it is with great honor that I present to you the Renee Wolf Memorial Award.
We have gathered this week to say what is necessary, to say that the issue of medical cannabis is not an issue of crime, but an issue of compassion and choice. I'm not one voice, but I'm a voice of thousands, speaking on behalf of all who suffer with chronic debilitating condition. It's quite overwhelming when stepping out of the cannabis closet. There are so many aspects to consider, but none ever compared to the weight one carries on their shoulder by not saying anything, by living in secret. I can no longer live in silence knowing that I had an answer to the pain, my own peace of mind. Liberated I felt in saying that yes, I smoke cannabis because it helps me. Illness is an act of consumption, and by its restriction can become the very sacrifice of life itself. We know the freedom of living life when not bogged down by our condition, and we know the value of our physical abilities and how easy one can take them for granted. Coping with illness is about accepting what one cannot change and the strength we discover to endure it. I understand the nature of illness, its overwhelming power of consumption, and the sacrifices one makes in order to live the best quality of life. With Becker muscular dystrophy, I regularly contend with chronic back pain, muscle stiffness, and muscle spasticity, impaired mobility, loss of appetite, and trouble sleeping. Cannabis alleviates my pains and symptoms, but let's face it, prohibition and prescription meds are far greater of a threat to our health and wellness, to our freedoms of life and liberty. In learning of this acknowledgement, I learned of Renee's story in becoming the first medical marijuana card holder in Michigan history. Renee, who suffers from MS, played a defining role in making change for patients in her state. I am inspired and quite ambitious in seeing a compassionate change in my home state of Texas. This country wants to speak of freedom. Well, let me say something. We fight for our freedom upon each day we wake, and that has nothing to do with the law of the land. That has to do with the law of disease and disability. They say that we're using the excuse of medical necessity, which couldn't be further from the truth of what we endure daily. I'd like to thank Josh Schimberg, my director, and my friend Cheyenne Weldon, Diane Fornbacher, and all with NORML for believing in my own truth to power. There shall be a day when we'll no longer be bound to the dangers of marijuana prohibition. Thank you.